tech company that specializes in identity resolution and website de-anonymization efforts. We are one of the largest and most accurate consumer identity graphs in the US, and we really specialize on providing data that is actionable and accurate, which is a big differentiator for us in the ecosystem.
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah, so Adam, we worked together here closely for the last couple months. I know that this was more of like a unique situation. It was more of a consulting agreement where we were actually kind of catapulting some of the results of the other agency that you were working with simply because they just weren't working. Could you just share a little bit more about, your situation there and what you were facing?
Yes, for us, it was kind of unique. I mean, we've been in a situation where we've developed some new technology, and so we have a pretty good idea of our go-to-market strategy and our market fit as it relates to the needs that we are solving. And so for us, it was really about generating some leads that would help drive adoption and usage early on. We had worked with a couple of different firms to help with some outsourced SDR lead gen efforts, and had run into several challenges working with those firms where maybe expectations or certain guarantees were not met early on. And once we kind of signed on the dotted line, so to speak, we felt like a number rather than a partner. And the way that we approach our business with our customers, we try to be very partner centric and really invested in their growth and success. And that was something that we found that was lacking in the partners that we had chosen to work with. We were sold and promised in the sales process, didn't necessarily always come to fruition once we were in the delivery mode.
Yeah, so can you tell me about the result of the other agency? Like what did they deliver? What did they not deliver? What was that like?
Yeah, so specifically when we engaged with you, we were under a lead guarantee, which really within a certain period of time, we were guaranteed a certain number of qualified leads and SQLs. And so part of what prompted us to really kind of engage with you as a consultant in the project was we felt like the efforts of that firm were not yielding the results that we were promised. In fact, at that point, I think we engaged 3 months in, and they had yet to deliver a single SQL. And so we felt that something was off, whether it was in the execution of the campaign, the way the technology stack was built on their end, the way things were structured, or whether it was messaging and product fit and target personas that we were going after that needed to be realigned. And so working with you, we were able to kind of really buckle down and sort through a lot of those things. And while we certainly recognize opportunities to improve in our messaging and our approach, we really found that at the end of the day, it was a poor setup of how the campaign was technically executed. And you were able to help us identify where those misfires were and help us really kind of create a playbook that we could execute on that would really generate the results that we were expecting and hoping for.
Yeah, I remember when we dived deep into it, it was the other agency just didn't have the proper infrastructure. Like the 3 main pillars of Outbound is what? One is deliverability, so actually being seen with your message. The next one is the lead list, having the proper people to target. And the last one, of course, is the copy, right? So the actual proper messaging to the right lead list and being seen. That's when the sales starts, right? So I remember that just to kind of like prove the process, because I remember they were just not really finding the need to the process that needed to be done. I remember I ran a test campaign for you guys. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you were super gracious in agreeing to kind of do a test campaign and really allow us to validate that, through an A/B test, their infrastructure versus your suggested infrastructure. One of the reasons we engaged with you from the very get-go was your expertise in the industry, right? You're very knowledgeable, you're very credible, you're very committed to your clients and their success. and really being a partner with them. And that was one of the things that really motivated us to engage with you, even in a consulting basis. And then as you kind of helped us to navigate those infrastructure conversations and brought that expertise to our side of the table in a way that we didn't really have prior to, we were able to see very quickly, I think within the first 3 days, we had 5 SQLs that came out of your test campaign within a matter of days being live, and with the other infrastructure of the other agency, we had been 3 months without a single one. And so obviously that was a big eye opener for us that, take aside the messaging changes that we tweaked and revised based on the data that we saw and the things that we learned from the execution of the campaign. The basic infrastructure in and of itself was not set up from the get-go in a way that created an environment where we could be as successful as we wanted to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. Adam, last question for you here. If, let's just say someone's watching this video and someone's maybe on the fence whether to start with Conrad and his team, with Client Push or not, what would you tell them?
I would say hop on a call with Conrad, learn a thing or two. I certainly have in our engagements. My background has given me a lot of skills that have been developed, but working with someone that lives and breathes this business in the way that Conrad does, with the expertise that Conrad and his team bring to the table, and the position that they take as a client advocate, it's a real gift to have that as a part, as an extension of your company's growth strategy and growth efforts. And so we are grateful for the ways that Conrad and his team have been able to be that for us.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for the kind words and the testimonial. And any final words? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and enjoy it, and talk to you later.
Thanks, Conrad.